Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morrow.
I'm Jel.
I'm Ray.
Let's go do a morning cruise.
Let's do it.
Oop, gotta turn the car on.
Short legs.
Short legs.
Short legs.
It's the morning.
It's a nice, chilly, almost fall morning, though.
I love it. And my coffee.
It's like cloudy. You could tell it rained yesterday, but it still feels good.
I have my sweats on and a t-shirt, and it's awesome.
Yeah, there's like people that we can see with like hoodies with shorts.
Where are we? Where did you bring us?
Where are we?
She just drove us here, and I'm like, that's cool. It's in the mountainy area. Where are we? What is this?
We're by Ken Carl.
Okay, but what does that say?
South Valley Park.
Oh, we're at the South Valley Park at the trailhead. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not gonna go hiking, but it's still nice. We like the view.
Yeah, we like the beautiful views. It's very stimulating.
Look at the sunflowers. Look how cute the sunflowers are.
Which I've never actually been sunflower picking here in Colorado.
I've never done that either.
I want to really bad. I saw Anderson Farms was doing that, but by the time I saw, because it was from like July through August 26th, I was like, dang, all the good sunflowers have been picked by this point.
Oh man. Oh, that looks pretty.
Yeah, gorgeous. Look at that glass view of the water.
The water.
Water.
It's still so green too, on the red rocks.
Yeah, look at this. This is magical.
There's a peak. There's a couple of them that look like Pride Rock.
Really though. At first I thought this was a golf course. Look at this.
No, it's pretty.
It's a trailhead.
Colorful Colorado. So beautiful.
Well, we do have to come back here and hike.
With the girls.
Definitely.
You know what our topic is today?
Since we were talking about fall.
Spooky season's coming.
Yes.
I feel like that spooky season has become more and more popular.
Oh, totally.
I love fall. I love all of it. Yeah. I love it all the way up into Christmas.
I love summer. Don't get me wrong. I love what you can do outside in the summer. I think that's what I love the most about it, aside from the heat, because apparently I'm a reptile.
She's a freaking dragon, man.
I like the heat.
It's a mythical creature named She's a dragon.
Hey, at least I'm mythical.
I'm a mermaid.
Just a goddamn mermaid. But that's what I like about summer. Like, I love the fall too. I just love how beautiful all the seasons are in general. I like the chilliness. I like the comfort of fall.
Well, we get lucky and we get all 4 seasons here, so.
We do. Brutally, we do.
The thing about the season change that I hate is the goddamn allergies.
Spring, man. Spring is her favorite season.
Spring, and then the shift into fall screws me up too. Like, my nose wants to fall off. It's like,
that's why it's fall.
Literally, it's falling out of my nose. But because of spooky season, we're back on the topic of ghosties.
Ghosties.
It's one of our favorite things to talk about, which
Paranormal.
it's a lot of people's favorite things to talk about.
Nowadays, especially.
I like that people are more open about ghosts. Because, I mean, I'm not everybody. But it seems like more people believe, I guess, now.
Or coming out with their experiences.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's like Kyle, my boyfriend. I think he believes in it, but he, doesn't.
Same with Roland. It's kind of the same with UFOs. Like, after that camping trip we had, he's convinced that there's life out there.
Saw a freaking...
we saw a few UFOs.
Several. There was this one, I swear to God, it had pink in it.
I saw that one.
Yes,
yeah.
And it was a big old bright white light that just went straight across.
Which I did hear that there's going to be a green comet coming around soon.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
but
I saw an
that'd be cool to see. But the thing we saw was, like I said, was big old bright white beam that just shot across the sky.
Straight, too.
And straight. And then on the sides of it, it was glowing pink.
Yeah!
It was pink.
Like, that was a straight up UFO. Wasn't a comet with, like, a different colored tail. Because I swear we were looking at a highway of UFOs. Because there was a few streaks of stuff we saw. Mm-hmm. And I know we were expecting a meteor shower, but at the same time... It didn't feel that way.
That one was different.
Yeah, that was not a meteor shower.
And then we saw the line of stars that were following each other.
Yeah!
If that's what they were. I don't know what they were. But there was, like, dots, and they were in a synchronized line, and they were following each other.
Oh, those are satellites.
Was it?
Yeah.
It didn't look like satellites. It was, like, going in a loop-de-loop and everything, and it went boop-a-doop, and then it disappeared.
No, because I remember it was too far to be a satellite. Because I've seen satellites with Roland, and that was trippy. I've never seen a satellite.
It is just crazy. Star watching is just crazy.
Oh, it's so intense.
Either way, I'm just glad that more people believe, because I like hearing stories about that, as scary as they are.
Well, yeah, and like kind of like I was going with Roland. He's one of those where he's skeptical, and I am too, but it's more because I'm trying to cancel out everything else to where I'm like, okay, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, it had to have been a ghost. And I think that's kind of where he's at, but... Yeah. He's not one of those, like, firm, you know, I have to see it to believe it.
And like I was just saying earlier, me and my sister, we loved watching, like, Ghost Adventures and, like, all the ghost stuff on, like, TV and, like...
Unsolved Mysteries.
Unsolved Mysteries! I love that show!
The old school, not the new one that they have now. The old school from Lifetime.
Yeah. Like, we used to watch shit like that all the time. Today, Rachel's going to tell us a ghost story. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm all comfy. I have my coffee.
Now, it is a ghost story in a sense, but it kind of isn't, depending on how you want to take it. Now, you might think I'm still biased because this is from Chile. But to be fair, when I pulled up my research, I still had stuff from Chile when I looked it up.
The irony.
Yeah, so when I started looking up, you know, like creepy things, it pulled this story up. And even though I'm Chilean, I've heard of this town, but I've never heard of this story. So it is the ghost town of La Noria. So La Noria is located in the Atacama Desert. And that's another reason it drew my attention, because I've been to the Atacama. It's hot as hell, man. Dry, hot. You got sweat going down your butt crack. Like
you're in your element.
Yeah, that's where I was born.
See, you dragon?
I wasn't born there.
You scaly Chilean gecko.
I'm proud of it. But ironically, I do remember when we were going to Castillero del Diablo, which is a winery down there. Really good wine. You should try it. Castillero del Diablo. There's a supposedly a footprint, and they call it the Devil's Foot. So La Noria...
Wait. What does the footprint look like? Is it like...
It looks like a dinosaur footprint. It's literally on the side of a mountain. Like, you could see it just driving by.
Is it a dinosaur footprint?
No, it's way too big.
Or is it just, like, really?
It's way too big. I think, honestly, it's how the rocks kind of just were sliding downwards, and it just made that formation.
What?
Yeah, but... I think we have it on camera somewhere. But I remember looking, I'm like, Mom, look. She's like, sí, eso es del diablo.
La pata so casual.
Yeah, la pata del diablo, and which is basically the devil's footprint. And I'm like, oh, and that just stuck with me. But
yeah, that's just the devil's foot over there.
Yeah. She's so casual when she says things. But it's La Noria specifically is a very remote, like about 5-kilometer walk. So you would have to have an off-road vehicle to get to this town. And you have to go up and down hills, sand dunes. It's about an hour walk if you're just doing it on foot. So you got to make sure you got your waters.
Jeez.
Now, the history of La Noria, because there's 2 ghost towns, but I focus on this one more so. But La Noria was a saltpeter, which that's a type of substance, I guess, used to create fertilizer. But it was a saltpeter mining town that started in 1826. Now, this mining business flourished over the years. It grew to house thousands of people.
When was this?
1826.
Oh, okay.
So it gradually became affected by other saltpeter deposits. And in the end, later on, a huge fire broke out in 1901. So those deposits ended up reducing. Now, the final blow to the economy was during either World War I or World War II. I had a couple different sources say both of them. But there was a synthetic alternative to salt pepper that was later discovered. And another source said it was discovered in Germany. So I would imagine maybe World War II. So essentially, that put La Noria out of business. And it was slowly abandoned after that. Many people left some possessions behind, and a lot of the structures are still there, but crumbling.
That's so creepy when towns do that. There's so many towns that just get abandoned like that.
Yeah, there's one in
You
Europe.
just leave everything. It's crazy.
It's
I know they can't take everything with them all the time, but
it's so eerie. Like,
and can you imagine? I mean, not even just the energy of ghosts. I'm talking about energy from the people that were there, left behind in those houses, and everything is just crazy. The energy from like their possessions and shit. Like,
exactly.
It's weird.
And this source specifically, this first one, is from amyscrypt.com. And she personally did go to La Noria. I saw the video and everything like that.
Do we need to go to La Noria?
We do. And going more into like the cemetery specifically, because this was just the town. So even though the town was thriving with people, they still faced really hard lives. So the living and working conditions were really tough. For one, it's hot as hell. It's one of the driest deserts on Earth, if not like the hottest. I know Sahara's up there too.
It's where the Chilean geckos are, like you.
Yeah, we're crawling around all over there.
It's not actually a thing.
Now, the conditions were so tough that it was compared to slavery.
Damn.
Yeah, it was that bad.
Oof.
And many occupants, including children, faced sudden and horrible deaths.
Oh.
It didn't say how. It could have been possibly starvation, could have been being overworked, could have been heat stroke, could have been illness, it could have been anything, honestly. Could have been being whipped to death for all I know. I know. I know, I just said that casually. It's my mama. But even after the town being abandoned, La Noria suffered from looting, more specifically, the cemetery. The cemetery was hit the hardest, to the point where you can see the sea of wooden crosses just everywhere. And vast amounts of coffins are exposed. And it shows bones of those that are buried in there.
That's creepy.
Yeah. And it's from, like I said, grave robbers. And joke's on them. Those people were poor. They didn't have anything on them.
So they just desecrated these people's resting places for nothing.
Essentially. And the cemetery, from what Amy was saying, is definitely not for the faint of heart, as well as it being slightly treacherous. So human bones are everywhere. There's deep mine shafts, there's remnants of coffins that are just staked through the dirt, and legend states that many of the souls buried there have clearly become angry and confused about their grave's disturbances, which would make sense. Mm-hmm. Like, why is my grave like this? Like, what's going on? Now, supposedly after sundown, the dead will rise from their graves and head down to La Noria. Yeah. Now, some people claim to have witnessed full-body apparitions and shadow figures throughout the crumbling ruins of the town. And some people have even claimed, which is more common, for them to hear footsteps, screams, and voices. It's to the point where it makes visitors who try to go there extremely uncomfortable.
We gotta go there.
And we're all wanting to. Now, although it's a destination for ghosts, it's very difficult for the living to access. But it's worth a trip. It's just not easy, though. It's a really long drive into the desert, for one. There's a bunch of roads that are blocked off by other mining companies, so that's why you need an off-road vehicle or plan to walk 5 kilometers.
Shit.
Yeah. In a hard, blazing sun. Now, in another source, thelittlehouseofhorrors.com. This town was close to the town of Humberstone. That was the other mining town. It was also very popular and also a ghost town. I've heard a little bit about Humberstone, and I'll get into that later on, maybe in a future episode. But that one was founded because saltpeter, I keep wanting to say salt pepper, saltpeter was discovered, and again, everybody thought it was going to be popular as hell. It clearly didn't last long. Now, La Noria, though, is older than Humberstone. That's why I wanted to start with La Noria. It's the oldest saltpeter mine that was in Chile. And it even had a railway that was connected to Iquique. We've been to Iquique. It's just a neighboring town, like a little suburb. But the La Noria was suffering from competition since other mining towns around them kept popping up. So that's why from Amy's crypt, why they were suffering even more so. And then, again, that fire in 1909 basically just bankrupted the entire town.
Sheesh.
And like I said, in this source was where they said that synthetic saltpeter was discovered in Germany. So when everybody brought that back...
There was no use.
There was no use, yeah. So going more into the ghosts in this source, people in Iquique refuse to go to or near La Noria at night. And when asked, most of the people in that town will say it's because of the zombies.
Not ghost.
The
zombies. Freaking
yes,
zombies, man.
Now, even though the open and scattered coffins are very most likely due to the grave robbers, wildlife, wind, others are convinced it's like that because the dead are rising at night. Basically, the zombies opened their own graves.
What the heck?
And some of the pictures that you see, like you can see a very open coffin, and it's so old, but the skeleton still has his arms crossed, and he still has like some clothes on even, but the other like half of his lower body is pretty much like still buried in the sand.
What the heck?
Yeah. And I watched another video from an actual like Chilean YouTuber, and he was even saying like, this is so eerily beautiful. Like just seeing how his hands were crossed in his final resting place. But a grave robber could have opened this. He could have opened this and just laid himself back down to rest. So either way, yeah, it's so creepy.
What?
Yeah. And a 6-inch tall human skeleton was found there in 2003. 6-inch tall skeleton. It's about from like your thumb to your pinky, essentially.
What?
I've heard of this. It's known as the Atacama alien. Now, what it actually is, because they did DNA stuff, and the DNA proved it to be the corpse of a human child with the worst case of dwarfism ever recorded.
What the heck? How old do they think the skeleton? Like how old?
They didn't say. I couldn't find anything that said that. They just said a child with dwarfism, and they're unsure if that dwarfism was caused because of the mining that was going on there. Like like from the saltpeter or something that could have...
a defective...
It's like if you're working at Chernobyl, you know, your kid's probably going to have some type of radiation.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like same thing, like I've heard stuff in I think it was Japan after the bomb and whatnot, people still to this day have signs of radiation. And they're born with like an extra limb, or they're born missing a limb. Like there's a lot of birth defects.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, wow.
And clearly, this could have been the case. It could have been genetics. It could have been, what do you call it? When they breed in the family.
Oh, incest.
It could have been incest. It could have been a number of things. But the fact, and I've seen this picture, it does look like a little alien, but it's only 6 inches long.
I wonder if it's still like a baby. And
I
it
don't
just
know.
didn't make it, you know, and...
It was a fully formed, though, and babies don't have, like, the skull caps.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
Like a real-life Thumbelina.
Essentially, yeah! Except it's an alien. It's an alien!
Freaking Tom Thumb, man.
Now, in another interesting thing, and this is why I watched the Chilean YouTuber, which I think I should have wrote it down. I think the name was Claude X, I think is what he goes under. But he was there, and he explained that there's actually another legend. It's the treasure of La Noria. And another reason why a lot of people try to go there and end up kind of desecrating the town, but it's because they're looking for treasure.
Now, is that rumor, or is there really treasure there?
We don't know. So basically, the legend has it that a priest had buried the town's treasure somewhere and took the location of that treasure to the grave. Now, La Noria, back then, was actually a Peruvian territory before El Guerra del Pacífico, which is the War of the Pacific. So the town got scared about Chileans invading. Sorry, I'm sorry.
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 Sorry, I'm still learning.
But so because of that fear of the invasion, the town gave all of their money, jewelry, valuables to somebody they could trust the most in the town, and that was the priest.
And wow.
And
he buried it.
He hid it. And who
well,
knows?
Not buried it, but he hid it.
Buried, hid it, whatever. We don't know where he put it. If he buried it, where it's at. And the Chilean army apparently interrogated him, but he never told. Interrogated to the point where some people say that they ended up killing him. He took it to the grave. So to this day, people still dig big holes. They're crumbling brick walls, just looking for the treasure. And in the video, you even see him going up to what was like the church. And it's just ruins. Like, it's completely empty because they took everything. It's ruins. But what was really eerie was the priest's table was in front of the actual church itself. And it was like the wood was all burnt down and stuff and lopsided. Nothing actually inside of that church. It was just crumbling brick walls. There was no door even. But just that table was right in front. And when he was kind of looking in with his camera at the very back brick wall where the priest would have been doing his sermons and stuff, there's a giant hole. And it's because of people like literally breaking it down to see if maybe he hid it behind the wall.
I don't think he would have hid it there.
I don't know where he would have hid it, if he even hid it.
I mean, so this is just personal, but I think I would put it in the last place you would think that I would put it in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why would the priest put it where he is all the time?
Right, like in the church and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Unless he wanted to keep watch of it.
But, like, wouldn't you want to put it somewhere where you, like, they would never guess that you put it there?
I mean, it's hard because I've tried doing that. Like, even with my own self, I'll try hiding things from myself, and I forget. And I always think of, well, where's the last place I would put it? And I end up forgetting.
That's true.
Because that could have been his case, or maybe he didn't want to forget, considering it was everybody's valuables.
He hit it, and he's like, I don't remember where it's at, so I can't give you the location.
Right? Poor guy, and he got beat.
Oh, man.
But again, though, it's everyone in that town's prized possessions. Anything that has worth, why would he forget, you know?
No, he wouldn't forget. But that's crazy. I wondered. No one's found it.
Nope. And in the video, aside from the crumbling wall...
And this has been since, like, the 1800s?
Like 1901.
1900.
Even after that, yeah. Because the town was set in 1826, but 1901 was when that fire broke out, and after that, the town just became abandoned.
Oh, okay.
And so with that being said, the dude, he kept walking around, like, the town of La Noria after that, and you can see holes that were being dug just all over the town, all over the radius of it. And at one point, he was like, look, this one's like 6 feet deep. And it's just a little hole.
What the heck?
And here I'm all like, oh, yeah, they didn't make that big enough. I'm all trying to treasure hunt, too. But he was like, and at one point, him and Amy, they went like more into the middle of the town. And there was this giant gazebo-looking thing. And it was, the outside of it, like inside, was just rings of possessions. Shoes, shovels, brooms, bottles, all these random dolls, all these random possessions just around. And then in the middle of the gazebo is the head of some type of cattle. A skeleton head.
Oh,
it's got the horns
creepy.
And everything, yeah.
Was that some kind of ritual?
They don't know. Because even Amy's crypt, she was saying, like, I don't know if this was left by the people. I don't know if this was left by people coming to visit. Like, and they just put it there, you know, as a ritual or as like a...
Because who knows? Like, and that's a long time. Like, a lot of people have been to that town in the aftermath.
Yeah.
So people could have, like, obviously, they've been digging holes in it and shit. Like,
and even the Chilean blogger, I'm going to call him Claude, because I'm pretty sure it's Claude X. Claude being like Claudio. But he was even saying the same thing. He's like, look at this, it's beautiful. And he was like, kind of filming around it. He's like, look how old that broom is. Like, who knows what that the last sweep that broom did. It could have been right before the town invaded, and somebody could have been cleaning. And they're like, hey, we're invading, or we're leaving, we're abandoning the town. Oh, just drop it right there, or put it there. Who knows?
What the heck?
Yeah. And
that's as simple as that is. Someone just put the broom back in the corner. That broom did not move for the next
how
However
many
many years.
And Amy, she was lucky enough, or brave enough, I should say, to stay until nighttime. And she did some EVP recordings. So she was sitting at that gazebo, and she was saying stuff in Spanish, and you could hear some Spanish muffles. So if you guys want to watch that video, amyscrypt.com, it's on there. But she was saying, like, what's your name? My name is Amy. And you could hear responses. And what was eerie to me, I know the accent of Chileans. It sounded like a legit Chilean.
Oh my God.
Even though it was like a Peruvian town, I'm sure the accents were still similar. But still, it sounded so eerie to me. It was so eerie. And part of the other legend and why people are afraid, because the town and cemetery are separate. It's not like the cemetery is right there. You have to walk a little ways to get to the cemetery. It's basically, it reminded me of seeing Lake Mead, where we were at, and then seeing the harbor.
Yeah.
It was like that much of a walk to the cemetery.
Oh, okay.
And apparently, when the dead rise at night, they start hobbling or walking down to the town of La Noria or to Iquique. And that's when people start hearing the disembodied voices, or they start seeing the apparitions and shadowy figures.
Did she catch anything?
Besides the voices, I don't think she caught like any apparitions or anything like that, because even from the walk, they were walking at night to the cemetery also, or they were walking from the cemetery to La Noria. She had done like some EVP sessions, and I think at one point she got a voice. I wasn't too convinced with that one for whatever reason. Just my gut was telling me like, I don't know about that.
You think that one was staged?
I don't think about stage. I think she maybe caught something else.
Oh.
I don't know what. I don't know how those things actually work. But when she was sitting at the gazebo, that was different. And I think it's because she was with the possessions. At one point she even asked, like, do any of you own any of these possessions? And I think at one point she got a little response. And that's when I heard the accent. I was like,
that's creepy.
Yeah.
It's so creepy.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to see Claude's, because he lives in Chile. He's heard the legend. I wanted to hear it from the perspective of a visitor to someone who knows. And he gave me the legend of the treasure of La Noria. Because that wasn't anywhere. He was the one who told me about that. Well, like, it was me. Like, who said it about that. And
yeah.
I was mind blown. I was like, oh my God, I had no idea about any of this. I'd never heard about that. I've heard about Humberstone. Never really heard of La Noria. Like, I've heard the city.
Never heard of any of those places.
I've heard the name, but I did not know anything about legend. I didn't know anything like that. Yeah. And it's supposedly the world's creepiest cemetery. Supposedly. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to share about La Noria, the town of La Noria.
I want to go.
I was going to say it's beautiful. I mean, the whole country's beautiful. I want to take you there, but now I want to go see La Noria myself. Yeah. Because, wow, dude. Like, I'll show you some pictures here in a bit.
One day we'll have money and we'll be able to travel and do what we want.
Really, though. Help us! No, I'm just kidding. But with that, I hope this was a lot of, like, fun information for you guys. Again, I swear I'm not trying to be biased and only look at Chilean stuff, but it caught my attention right away. I was like, what? Cemetery? Chile? And some of them do look like they've kind of risen out of their graves.
That's creepy, man. I want to see the 6-inch baby.
Okay. Oh yeah, and that's the sea of crosses she was talking about. What? Those are all of the crosses.
Guys, look up the pictures. They're pretty.
And we'll post some for sure. But there was one cross that wasn't even a cross anymore. It was just a stake going up. And the guy that was filming it, he was just so into it. He was like, "Look at this! Like, you could tell it was a cross, obviously." He's like, "But now the fact that it's just a stake sitting up and down like that."
You know, I would probably have the same fascination just because of. It's just so freaking old.
Exactly. The history of it. But then you can feel just the creepiness. And, like, you can almost feel the sadness, too. Yeah. That was La Noria. That's what it looked like.
You should save that picture.
Yeah.
And then the crosses. We'll post these pictures because...
Oh, yeah. You guys definitely need to see these.
Damn.
But... No, I'll get the...
Oh, I want to see the little Thumbelina baby. What the heck? hell? No.
I remember seeing that around 2003 and thinking, like, this is fake. But they did DNA test on it, and sure enough, that's what they claimed.
And it's human?
Yeah, a child with dwarfism. The worst case of dwarfism.
Its skull is like... It looks like it's been smashed in or something.
That could have been from the burial. It could have been, like, right there. Maybe he wasn't fully developed yet.
Because it's like... We'll post this, too, because... Jeez.
So, yeah, we'll post these pictures. Take a look for yourself, by all means. But, yeah, this is not a hoax.
Wow.
Yep, that's the ghost town of La Noria. So I hope I taught you something.
You definitely taught me something, because I had no idea.
And that's why I was like, I mean, it is a ghost story, but it isn't, because
It's a good ghost story.
Was it a ghost story? Because I couldn't tell if I was just talking about a creepy cemetery.
I love creepy cemeteries. We just went to the one yesterday.
We did. Yeah.
We
went to Central City.
We went to our favorite Central City. And it was raining. We got scared of the thunder.
Both of us jumped out like, ah!
I know. Me too. I screamed.
I already hate thunder. I like calm, like rumbly thunder, you know, that's fine. It's the unexpected claps or the unexpected rumbles, and this was right above us, too. And we were just quietly, you know, walking
through the damn cemetery.
You can hear the raindrop on the leaves, and all of a sudden, brrr, and we're just like, ah!
Oh, man, we're like the worst ghost hunters ever.
we started going back to the car right after that. You're like, I'm following you. Like, I don't know where I'm going.
And she was like, you okay? I was like, I got scared.
I got scared. At least she didn't pass gas. It's fine.
Oh, man. Well, don't worry. We'll have another one for you next week, and it'll be mine. I always like to learn more. I love history, so.
Me too. And it gets me excited that I was in the desert.
Hence
but I
why
didn't know
we go
about that.
cruising and we just BS about cool facts.
Exactly. And why we want to educate y'all.
Which is why you can watch us on YouTube at Let's Go Cruising with Jel, Jel, and Ray. Again, you have to look us up like that. Let's Go Cruising with Jel and Ray. And you can follow us on Instagram at Let's Go Cruising Podcast, which there's links in the show notes and all that. And you can always email us at letsgocruisingpodcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
You like, subscribe, follow us. But we had fun. We'll talk about more ghosts next week.
Exactly. So.
All right, we be out.
Bye.